who's here.
So here's backseat review of Johnny, a new segment.
I'm a Tesla supercharger guy.
Day's the day, the new air conditioner. The fourth be with you. Looking good, looking good.
I agree.
Berries, watermelons. Not to mention that thing is not easy to move. Oh, mail? What the heck? Hardest part of this project, the planning and the math?
Yeah, I guess. Some up just a little bit.
Cool. Hey, it's starting to look like stairs.
That's my girl.
All along it was a plan.
Yeah, all along that's exactly what I had decided.
Good morning.
We get to play in the dirt. We get to dig, dig, dig. Well, I'll be damned. Somebody measured right. There's my girl on her step.
I let Donnie sit down for a minute. It's nice over here. Donnie, we got all the decking boards down.
They're all screwed down.
And I am done with the fairy garden for now. Yeah, see, Dawn was here. What we're trying to do right now is mark where we need to put the trench. For after dinner entertainment, Dawn and I, we have fun with the laser level. Our favorite mobile service guy is here. So now that the panel's off, you can see the actuator. Yep, see, I'm ready to go. So 11 bags back here.
Baby, she slides and she doesn't squeak and it doesn't.
Johnny's been a big help. We went through all of his dresser drawer. $1 allowance, 99 cents on like a 45.
I got wet.
You did. Guess there's a red, white, and blue lineup, so I better get that picture.
Sideways, I can get in it normal.
Great. We got one critical board screwed down, but it's supposed to start raining. He is mounting my sewing machine in my sewing machine table. No rain showers nearby, and we are almost done with phase 2. Tux approves of his kingdom this morning. You got it all leveled up.
Yeah, it's all leveled up.
Stopping by today has really made me realize how much I've missed going around taking pictures. I had seen Nelsa post Bigfoot, but I hadn't seen it in person. The leveling here hasn't been very nice to Don, but he's working on it. So Don says we're gonna use the red stepping stone. You can see there's no more unfinished wood anymore.
1, 0, ignition, liftoff of the Falcon 9.
Oh, wow.
Wow, 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 they're on their way. I'm done with dirt.
I didn't know you were going to be fancy about it. It's time to decide what to make for dinner. So one of the things Dawn's doing this afternoon is a little more planning for the bench. Yesterday's picture was just representative of something like what we might put over there. This is actually not that much different of a design, but the boards being short, going the short way instead of the boards going the long way has several advantages over the other one. First off, we have lots of smaller pieces, so it fits better with that, and Dawn thinks it's more comfortable for sitting. And this gives us a way to maybe make the back and part of the sides a little taller so that the cushion would stay in place. And it's got some things going for it. So Dawn's given this design here some serious thought.
We'll go get the Amazon packages from the mailbox.
Yeah, we can.
The We saw the mail truck, you know, the Amazon people deliver on Sunday.
Yeah, sometimes they'd come up to the house, but sometimes they just stick it out in the box. So
yeah, it makes it sweet, and it's the humidity's not bad. The temperature's pretty serious, but
it's nice in the shade.
Nice.
I sat in the shade with Tux and Gray for a few minutes. Still no sign of any butterflies. I got to tell you I'm disappointed because the best butterfly pictures are right when the butterfly bush flowers open, and you know, there's no brown on the flowers and they're nice and fresh, and I'm not seeing any butterflies. Well, not any swallowtail butterflies. I don't see any rain in the forecast for a good part of the week, so I don't know if I'll water today, but I definitely think I'll be out here watering again tomorrow. Won't I, Gray? I'm going to go ahead and do bag 4. Apologize for the time lapse at the end of the video yesterday where it wasn't adjusted low enough for you to see most of the build. That was obviously an accident. You can see when the phone is mounted in this fancy stand here that it's a little hard to see while I'm aiming at, but I should have been more careful with how it was adjusted there, so I'm sorry. I did look up what a CUSO, a C-U-U-S-O-O kit is, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw up the definition now. So I got to the step where it had me mount the body of the space ISS onto the stand, and then this new part that I built. Guess I'm gonna have to go study the architecture of the ISS so I understand for sure what I'm looking at. What all these parts are. I promise I'm gonna go do that today. I would like to be informed. But, so this bag is not complete, and on to the next steps.
So this is the cushion Marianne chose. You know, it's a little risky going by the dimensions of what they put on the ad. So it's 45 by 18. So allowing a little bit extra on the side, I figure 46 inches is probably safe enough. So I saw a bench on the internet, and I like the way they'd use the 1x6s to form the seat, and then just 1x6s on the outside, and then 4x4 legs. So that seems, I have all of that material. So what I've changed the design I saw on the internet a little bit. I'm going to put just about like an 1.5 inch riser on the back and partially down the side. Then it's going to slope and be even. So this right here, instead of being 5.5 inches, this is only going to be 4 inches. Okay, it'll be 5.5 in the back, but the extra height will stick above the seat. The same thing on the side. I'll use my saber saw and I'll cut this little swoop. So there's going to be 8 1x6s, which are in actuality they're 5.5 inches. But you have to allow for the gap so crap doesn't get stuck in the gaps and you can get it out. So that's about 1/4 inch. So effectively the width of each board is 5 3/4 or 5.75. So 8 times 5 3/4 or 5.75 is 46 inches, which it will allow 46 inches from the inside face of this little arm, let's call that an arm, to the inside edge of this. So there'll be 46 inches there, which should allow her cushion to fit quite well. And then of course the 18 inches is no problem. I have numerous scraps from prior 1x6 projects of this 1x6 planking deck boards. So that's what I'm going to use for the seat, and then I'm going to use, I have 4x4s probably for the legs, so we got that. So basically, I'm not expecting to have to use any material for this. I am going to have to rip down one of my 1x6s down to 4 inches. But I have I can put the cut edge down and the rounded edge will be up the top. But I also have a round over bit. So putting a nice quarter round on the edging is not a problem. So anyway, that's the vision of a bench for Marianne. And 2 people should be able to sit comfortably, or she can sit on one end and the cat can sit on the other. Who knows? We'll see. But I think it'll be reasonably sturdy with this is effectively a 1x4 in the front and a 1x6 in the back, and it's only 46 inches. That's not a real span, so I don't see this being an unsteady bench. It should be very solid.
Looks good to me. I'm sure that'll meet our needs. Don didn't say, but what he's trying to make sure happens is that when he needs to get in and out of the house, Johnny, I, and the cats aren't all sitting on the steps, because he wants in and out, and we're like always in the way. Plus, when he's taking off his work boots outside, he wants a place that's comfortable for him to sit down and take his boots on and off.
Right.
So that'll give him another spot. Plus, the cats and and Johnny are going to love having an alternate place to sit out there. So I think it's a win.
Win-win. Yep.
All the way around.
Yep, I agree. And the only thing I haven't talked about is how high the bench is going to be. And Mary and I, she kind of likes the height of the steps. It might be a little higher than that. So it's not going to be a particularly high bench. It'll be high enough. It'll be, you know, let's call it the normal height of a bench. But it probably won't be.
How long were the legs from the one you looked at on the internet, did she say? I'm sure she said. She
said, but yeah, a lady had did that basic design, but she just made it straight across. I'm putting a little lip to kind of hold the cushion. Hers didn't have a cushion.
Right.
And hers was 9 instead of 8, and you know, but the basic idea it came from her.
Well, I'm sure we can come up with what's a good height for someone.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere between my size and your size.
Right. Well, we'll make it comfortable, but we got to allow for the height of the cushion, and then of course when you sit down on the cushion, it's going to compress. So you know the height is going to be probably not ideal for no cushion, and if you had a super hard cushion, it would be too high. So it's going to be when you sit on it, height is what we're trying to come up with.
Well, in North Carolina, we probably can get away with leaving that cushion out there year round, but there would be some thought that there might be a time when we would remove the cushion and still want to sit there. So
yeah, like when all the pollen and crap's falling out of the trees. I mean, it's really, there's, you know, the springtime, the crap comes down like crazy.
Yep. So I am done with bag 4, and I'm ready to move on to bag 5. At the end, it gave me some trouble, and what gave me some trouble is that there was a red 12 axle long axle, okay, and I had too much red sticking out over here at the end. And there's a yellow axle on the other side, and when I really pushed in on the red, the yellow one popped out over here, so I knew it was in as far as it went. It took me a little time to figure out that the cylinder here, the axle can't go all the way through it. It's closed on this end, obviously, not on, well, I guess on the other end and this end. So that wasn't where the problem was. So along the way, I had missed this bushing this little gray bushing, and I had missed this other little white cylinder. And that's just shy of a third of an inch, a half an inch, something like that. And that was just enough to make things not line up right. So I took it back apart and traced through my steps and worked the problem until I figured it out, because I knew the Lego people hadn't messed their stuff up. It had to be me, right? Trust me, every time I think they've screwed up, it's really my screw up. So, but I worked it, and it's exactly how it's supposed to be. I'm going to make the comment that it's very hard to get the solar panels perfectly parallel, aligned up and down, aligned from side to side. It's a good thing it's going to be up on the curio cabinet, so I'm not having to look at how I can't quite get it exactly straight. Yeah, it's kind of hard. These pins that go in on the side here, they meet in the middle, and it's very hard to push them in, and it's very hard to push them in only halfway, and so that's part of the problem. This X-Wing fighter kind of piece, configuration piece there, that makes that one a little bit easier to get straight than this configuration, but still. So anyway, I am having fun, but it threw me a little curveball there, and I had to sort it out, and I caused myself my own problem. So we had a leak under the sink, but it wasn't Dawn's fault. We had a faulty valve, part of the osmosis system, so we ordered a new valve. And it seems like something's always happened into this sink, plus we got chemicals under there, not anywhere near as many as we used to, but some. So we ordered this dog crate pan, and we're hoping it's going to slide underneath there and keep us out of any potential future trouble.
Yeah, that's the hope.
And then we have some other, this green tray over here is busted. We've got some new, but they're back ordered, really inexpensive Sterilite pans coming. So it's just better under the sink if we keep the stuff in tubs, and then when we're looking for something, we just pull it out and push it back in, and it keeps us out of trouble.
Yeah, well, Marianne forgot the most important thing.
I did know.
Absolutely. It's just like this. If you carry a spare tire, you never have a flat. If you let your spare go flat and you know that it's flat and you drive your car, you will have a flat. Okay? Now, same thing here. I've put a pan under there to catch the water. I'm replacing the plastic valve with a nice brass valve. Doing all these things. Never going to have another leak.
Amen.
And I'm even putting a water sensor, Smart Things water sensor that will send a text message to Marianne if it detects water. I'm doing all this, and it's never going to leak again. Spending all this extra time and money. And if I didn't do all that, the question is, would it leak or would it not? Maybe all I should have did is just replace the valve and call her done. Never know.
So there's the pan installed, and obviously Dawn had calculated that it was going to be the right size to go through the fixed opening, and you can see the leak sensor there.
It has little pins on the bottom that touch the bottom of the pan, the electrodes. It does it from the top or the bottom.
Right, and the little trays we got, I forget what size they are, but we ought to be able to get 2 on each side. So 4 totally fill that space, with the pans. So when they come, we'll redo that part. So I hooked the Smart Things water leak sensor up to our Smart Things, and Dawn just had set it down there in water, and it sure enough did tell me it was wet. So Dawn's going to add some programming. It's a little lost on me right this second. I mean, it's nice that it says wet or dry, but we needed to send an email or a text message or both.
You have to use if this, then that.
Right. Yep. IFTCC or something.
Yeah, You have to use that to do that. So this is the valve that came with the reverse osmosis. It's made up of some metal and some plastic. And it was leaking right here between where it transitioned from plastic to the metal. There's just a drop of water coming out of there every now and then. So I replaced it with the same kind of valve, except for it's all brass. It has a compression fitting instead of this fancy like quick release or whatever you want to call that. I mean, this is something that is not designed to be unhooked. The reverse osmosis, I mean, is probably going to stay with the house. So the fact that it uses a compression fitting or you know, doesn't have this quick disconnect isn't that important.
Right, if they'd have just used brass in the first place.
Well, yeah, well, based on the comments, the reason I got the valve I've got, or bought the one I bought, was that people were saying, oh, this thing it works, it fixed my, you know, and I did buy another one of these valves, of the plastic, and everybody says, you know, I don't know why I'm having to buy another one of these valves. I mean, it's like, the one that came with the kit shouldn't have leaked, you know, so I guess, I don't know. We'll see if I'm causing myself more grief and aggravation, because if you have two valves, I may have to replace this valve, then it'll leak, and I'll go the other valve. So, yeah. I'm not a plumber either.
I guess I'm going to go ahead and start bag 5. So the main thing going on with bag 5 was building these outer, I don't know what to call them, so I'm still going to have to research on the architecture, but these outer arms, increasing the length of the two sides. And then I'm going to guess these are like solar sails. I'll have to look that up too, but that's out here on this side, and then kind of some sort of an antenna or an arm, and setting up for the last bag 6 of putting on the larger solar cells. So it was pretty cool. Didn't give me too much trouble. There was repetition on both sides here, and you know, with a few other things that I was doing, was a lot of repetition. So I chose to build at the same time versus finish one and come back and build the second one. I just did both together. It's an interesting knuckle over here on the side that allows you to tilt these. They will rotate, they'll spin, they'll turn, they can be angled. So both sides do it. That's pretty cool. I gave Don a good snack. We had guacamole, so I'm going to put on the rest of the solar panels before I cook dinner, because I just can't stop now. Alright, it's done. Way cool. These white flaps on the back side, they are radiators that pull heat out of the space station and all the computer equipment and people and stuff up there and send it back out into space. So not a solar sail. And a lot of the laboratory stuff and crew quarters and the escape Soyuz craft or whatever is over here. There's an American, a European, a Japanese laboratory, and then there's like a Russian lab over here. This is a building arm as well as a, you know, it's just used to move stuff around up there. So I did try to go study it. You can see the scaffolding, the structure here. There's lots of diagrams online, so if you Google International Space Station architecture or diagram or something like that, there's quite a few out there to look at from varying views. That would be helpful if you're wanting to understand further. Well, now I feel like I need some battery operated lights on my pie table. But there's the rocket, and it's on its way up to the International Space Station. I got my little, not quite a lava lamp, but a glitter lamp over here. And I always keep lights on top of this curio cabinet, so it's lit up pretty good. I tried to adjust the solar cells maybe down just a smidge, so that, you know, we can see it from the ground. I don't know where the day went. I am cooking some Vidalia onions to go with some chuck eye steak for dinner tonight.